Welcome to the Cocktail Spirit from Small Screen Network. I'm your host, Robert Hess. Now, brandy is an interesting product. A lot of people kind of get confused by it, especially since this isn't brandy, it's cognac. What's the difference between cognac and brandy? Well, the main difference is that cognac is brandy. It's just made from the cognac region of France. So they take great pride in the brandy they make there, and so they applied the name of the region to it. Armagnac, similarly, is named after the region, the Armagnac region of France. And so Armagnac is also brandy. The main reason why we don't hear about Armagnac as often as we do cognac is because cognac is all actually has got a shoreline associated to it, makes it easier to actually ship the cognac out of the cognac region to other places in the world, where Armagnac is land-bound, and so it's harder to distribute it. And that's why we don't hear about Armagnac as often. They're both excellent versions of brandy, and they taste slightly different than each other, but I would say Armagnac is just as good, if not better, in some cocktails than cognac is. Unfortunately, here in America, we don't get Armagnac as often. So what exactly is brandy? Well, it comes from France, mostly, and France, you know, is known for wine. Well, all that brandy is distilled wine. The cognac region, or any region that's making brandy, will take their wine and distill it in order to increase the alcoholic content, thereby turning it into brandy. Officially, to be called a brandy, you have to be made from fruit. So a distilled spirit made from fruit. So you can have pear brandy, apricot brandy, apple brandy, or grape brandy, which is what brandy is. If it just says brandy, you know it's made from grapes or from wine. If it's made from some other fruit, it has to say the name of the fruit on top of it. The cocktail I'm going to make for you now that uses brandy is called the Japanese cocktail. The Japanese cocktail is another one of those rather obscure cocktails that very few bartenders are going to know. It's also fairly old. Jerry Thomas wrote about it not in his first book, but in his second book that he wrote. In the first book, that one took and had both his mixed drink recipes as well as recipes for bitters and other bar things that was written by somebody else. Then he took and separated the book out and created a new edition from 1887 in which it's just his cocktail. So the second book was not included in this prop. And in this one, he included the recipe for the Japanese cocktail. The Japanese cocktail is really quite simple. It's made with 2 ounces of brandy, or like I said, in this case, I'm actually using cognac. To a certain extent, it doesn't matter. You can use brandy or cognac. And then a ½ ounce of orgeat syrup. Now, orgeat syrup can be difficult to find. With the increased popularity of coffee bars and stuff like that are using various syrups for flavoring the coffee, you can usually find orgeat syrup anywhere they're selling coffee syrups at. If you can't find orgeat syrup, you can use almond syrup instead. They're basically the exact same thing. The main difference you're going to notice is that orgeat syrup is cloudy, where almond syrup is going to be clear. I have seen some almond syrups that are cloudy, and I've seen some orgeat syrups that are clear. But for the most part, that's the main difference. Orgeat syrup also should technically have a little bit of orange flower water added to it, but I really can't notice that from a flavor standpoint, and especially in a cocktail with other things going on, you're not going to pick out that little teeny bit of orange flower water might be there. So you can't find orgeat, just get regular almond syrup. So we're adding a ½ ounce of orgeat syrup to our 2 ounces of cognac, and then we're adding a couple dashes of brandy, or not brandy, we've already added the brandy. We're adding a couple dashes of Angostura bitters. Now, since this included a slightly cloudy ingredient, the orgeat syrup, we could shake this cocktail. Myself, I still like stirring it though, so I'm going to stir this one. stirring this. And a little lemon twist for garnish. Take and do the knotted lemon twist on this one. And again, taking the yellow of the twist and rubbing it on the outside of the lemon, or the outside of the glass, before I drop it in. And there we have the Japanese cocktail.